Any discussion of quantum computing feels like a quantum leap into a sci-fi dream. Make no mistake, we are on the cusp of computer technology that defies logic. Today, the transistors in computers are as small as we can make them with existing technology. So, computer innovators began to seek possible solutions at the atomic and subatomic level in a field known as quantum computing. Hello, everyone. This is Priya Dialani, your host again, and welcome back to one more podcast at Analytics Insight. Well, it's been decades since Richard Feynman first proposed the possibility of using quantum mechanics for computing and urged the world to move forward in that direction. Yet, even for all the time that the concept of quantum computing has been among us, the general public is still in the dark about what it implies and what it could mean for our future. Now, industry leaders are racing to develop and launch a viable quantum computer and make it commercially available. So, one such industry leader that we have it today is Aurélie Hélouis, CEO of infinityQ, a leading quantum analog device innovator. Hi, Aurélie, how are you?
Hello, Priya. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Great. So, let's start with knowing more about Infinity Q. So, it would be great if you can tell our listeners about what Infinity Q is, its specialization, and the services it offers.
Yeah, with pleasure. So, infinityQ is a company proudly founded, led, and engineered by women. And we are based in Montreal, in Canada. And at infinityQ, we are developing a brand new type of computer. And we call our technology quantum analog computing. The benefits of this unique full stack solution are that we are able to solve today our customers' most impossible problems across different industries, including finance, pharma, logistics, chemistry, and more. And also, it's available to the end user via a cloud interface and soon an on-prem solution for enterprise. And you may wonder why we need a new type of computer. Actually, the idea comes from the observation of today's computing ecosystem. On one hand, you have classical computers and even supercomputers. They have their own limitations. For example, certain heavy simulations take days or are simply impossible to run. And on the other hand, the quantum computers you mentioned at the beginning, they claim they can solve these crazily impossible problems, but they won't be operational before 5 to 10 years. So we found a way to bring the quantum promises to life today without implementing what currently quantum computers require, like cryogenics or expensive machinery. And what makes us so special, I would say we outperform both classical CPUs and existing quantum computing devices with no technical complexity, with low energy consumption and low cost. So the fact that we use analog electronics, a reliable technology that works at room temperature, and we harness certain quantum effects, such as superposition, it's like having the best of both worlds. And our technology is highly scalable. It doesn't require any error correction thanks to its unique connectivity. I think this all gives us an edge that makes us market ready today. And regarding the service offering, right now we have a focus on optimization problems. It's when you look for minimum or maximum. And actually, classical computers struggle with these complex problems. And while these problems are super suitable for a machine, and we are developing application in finance for portfolio optimization, American option code pricing, and drug design with our first protein docking software in pharma. And we have a pretty aggressive pipeline across more industries, but we are starting there.
Okay, that was quite a lot that the company is into, and I'm glad. Like it's quite innovative, and personally, I like the fact that it's a woman-led company, and there are very few women out there in the tech field who are trying to make a difference, and by
Yeah,
running a company, a woman-led company. So it's quite inspiring to see you and your team working towards this technology.
thank you.
Great. So like we just discussed, like quantum computers can solve problems that are impossible or would take a traditional computer an impractical amount of time, like probably a billion years to solve. So, virtually unbreakable encryption, quantum computers will change the landscape of data security. So, even though quantum computers would be able to crack many of today's encryption techniques, predictions are that would create hack-proof replacements. Now, that's just one example, that I'm trying to talk about the potential that quantum computing has. So,
Mhm.
with what mission the company was set up, can you tell us about your journey as well since the inception of the company?
Yeah, sure. So let me start with the mission. As you talk about impossible problems, and actually in our tagline, we say find simple solutions for impossible problems. And it's not only a tagline, it's a goal to achieve. And we want to be a game changer in the quantum space. But to do that, we need to go fast. It's a race, and we have the team to do that. So we want to use our new computer to achieve what used to be impossible and drive positive change. That's very important for us because with any luck, we will leave the world a little bit better than how we found it. And as far as the journey of the company, so as you know, last year with COVID was very challenging, and for a startup, it was quite a thing. And we signed our last term sheet a week before the official lockdown, and it took much longer than expected to close our first round. It was quite stressful, but we did it. And also building the team was another challenging. Aspect during the pandemic. Our CTO, she's amazing, Dr. Christina Kapanova. Chrissy, she comes from Bulgaria, and she's the brain of the company with an extraordinary background in quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and high-performance computers. She co-designed one of the most powerful supercomputers, and I've met her through a colleague of mine when I was at Mila, the research center in artificial intelligence in Montreal, and we clicked instantly. But it took more than half a year to bring her to Montreal. And in the meantime, we continued to build our device, and the development of our first proof of concept was a fantastic journey. So Chrissy's brain room in Europe became our lab, and here we reproduced the same device in Montreal as well. And every step was really exciting. From our first measurement of the real physical qubit, showing the superposition and several qubits, the connectivity, the control, and finally the first cloud capabilities. And when Chrissy traveled to Montreal, she had to dismantle the different circuitry, and she will build more qubits here in our new lab. And it was our Christmas gift. But now we have built our cloud, and I can say we reached another level. We engage with real partners who demonstrate real problems that need solving, and also a willingness to pay, which is very important for a company, right? Another team, it's a team of 10 across Canada and Europe, and no day is the same at the last. And it's just the beginning. We are raising our next round of financing to ensure our growth, shrink down the tech, build new architecture, and go to commercializations. It's an exciting time.
Well, definitely, it's an exciting time, and yes, I agree with you that it's just the starting, and a lot of new innovations and breakthroughs. Of course, we are expecting from infinityQ as well. Um, so initially, we discussed about women and women being in the tech field. So women already face a lot of difficulties to make a place in the male-dominated tech field, and seeing you in this field is quite inspiring. So can you tell us more about your role and what are your contributions towards the company and the industry?
Yeah, so let's start off with my role. First, I really love my job. I love being an entrepreneur. I caught the entrepreneurial bug like 5 years ago when I came to Montreal. And honestly, even if I'm working like a dog, like hundreds of hours a week, I never under the impression that I am actually working. Being a CEO and a founder of a startup, it's, I think, the most exciting job. You create a company from scratch. And at the beginning, you wear a lot of different hats from accounting to HR, sales. And of course, you need to understand a little bit of the technology you are selling, right? And as a CEO of the startup, I need to embrace autonomy and those responsibilities. And I think I really enjoy that. And I really enjoy also understanding the big picture easily and fast and making quick decisions. And at the end of the day, I need things to be done, so I can't find excuses. And the thing is, with a startup, is a real roller coaster. And I like the quote from Reid Hoffman: "Starting a company, it's like jumping off a cliff and assembling the plane on the way down." So you clearly see the fruit of your hard work quickly, but as well as your mistakes, right? But if you see, 18 months ago, we were a couple of people with an idea, and today we are a real company with a real product and people who are willing to pay for it. And I think what we used to say in the Navy is like, c'est ça qui est bon, meaning that's what is so good. And yeah, c'est ça qui est bon. That's what I really enjoy. But I would also say that building a company is a teamwork, and it's my family, my teammates, my mentors, my investor, my friends. Together, we can achieve so much. And looking at our progress and our growing team, it gives me the energy to continue. And I think as a woman, the work-life balance is very important. You know, I have a family. I am the proud mother of four. My stepson is 15. I have two daughters, 13 and 10, and I have a little one who will turn 3 in a month. So, and you know, as a mom, it's not always easy to conciliate work and family. And I often have dinner with everyone, and then I work late once everybody's in bed. And it's actually the best time for me to do my admin work, as I usually use my day to focus on people, on my team, you know, the customers, investors, to do my meetings. And I think I am very lucky, you know, I have an husband. My husband is always here for me with his unconditional love and support. And we have a reciprocal admiration, and we make a great team. So I really feel blessed. And to answer your question about my contribution to the industry, another point I would like to highlight is I really believe we need to promote more females who have the skills to do the job. You know, we need to judge their capabilities and give them opportunities. And for me, this is an intrinsic value of the company. And now I'm in a position where I can promote women in tech who are brilliant but often overlooked. And often women underestimate their capabilities, and I was one of them. But I think I finally found a way to overcome my imposter syndrome. And that's why I use each opportunity to share my experience with others as a former Navy officer or as an entrepreneur. And I've done different talk, you know, with McGill University, the Women in Quantum Association, and for example, I will speak during the Women in Tech conference in June. And honestly, I want to demonstrate that you don't need to be a superwoman to achieve great things. You just need to be your true self.
I completely agree with you, Aurélie, and I think it's been quite an amazing journey for you, I believe, because you rightly said that it's not a one man a show. It's a teamwork, and everybody plays an important role, be it a family or a team member for that matter. So I'm glad to know that you're surrounded with such positive and caring people around you who are there to support you anytime you need them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm very, very lucky.
Definitely. So, moving ahead, there are a lot of benefits that quantum computing can bring to the table. For instance, given that we are living in the big data era, analyzing huge data sets and recognizing patterns would be a lot faster through quantum devices. So this technology could also be used to train artificial intelligence systems, develop ultra precise sensors for medical purposes, or boost telecommunications. So there are vast and an array of benefits that this technology offers. So we want to know, why do you think quantum computing should be at the forefront of technological developments?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I agree with you. Quantum computing as an extension, quantum analog technology or technology at infinityQ, it has the potential to revolutionize many industries. And because we are not talking about faster computers, we are talking about computers that are able to tackle new problems that either take forever today or that flat out cannot be done. And there are several different approaches to quantum. And honestly, outside of the academic community, results are the thing that people care most about. And we live in a data-driven world that doesn't currently have the computing power readily available on the market to sift through it all and make better decisions. So quantum can be a game changer, and it's a paradigm shift. A really good example, and you mentioned the health industry, I think with COVID, everybody clearly realizes the importance of speeding up the design of new drugs or new vaccines. And for example, if your grandma takes already 4 different pills and has to take a new one, an undesirable interaction can be fatal. This is why we really like starting with drug design, drug interactions, new material design. We really want to focus on solving real world problems and bringing value to businesses. And if you optimize materials and combinations of proteins, you save money, but more importantly, you can save lives. And having enough of the substance to remove pain without causing addiction, mitigating adverse side effects, this stuff matters. And quantum, more specifically our quantum analog approach, can be part of that fundamental change.
Yes, I agree with you totally, Aurelie. And I think you clearly justify that why quantum should be at the forefront of technological developments. The belief that quantum computing will be a game changer for the entire world led the European Union to launch the Quantum Technologies flagship. So, this is basically a Euro 1 million initiative that will fund thousands of quantum researchers during the next 10 years to deepen the second quantum revolution that will bring major technological advances. So, naturally, no one says that getting there will be easy. So, we want to know how InfinityQ is bringing quantum speed to enterprise and how the technology aims to bring the computational power promised by quantum computing to the market.
Yeah, that's a very good question because bringing quantum speed to enterprise, I would say with my French accent, it's exactly our raison d'être. And our approach is quite unique. We build an artificial atom as a basic computational structure, the qubit, without the need to use actual atoms or molecules as usual quantum computers. And our secret sauce is really our connectivity. So those analog qubits honor certain quantum effects, such as superposition, to explore the range of possible solutions to a problem all at once. So the quantum analog approach. And our qubits are these artificial atoms in lambda configuration, and with the superposition effect, transform days of computations in seconds. And we showed that our very first prototype easily performed a partial differential equation problem, and we took the Black-Scholes pricing model more than 100 times faster compared to a state-of-the-art classical algorithm. And it means, and it's just with the first prototype, and it means that the simulation that takes almost 2 hours can be done in a second with our very first machine. And I would say it's just the beginning. So now we are asking our contacts the question, what's impossible for you to solve right now? And then we work together to make the application.
That was insightful already, and I think with more advancements in the technology, I think Infinity Q will be in better position and will advance itself as well to ensure that the services or the technology that you guys are offering to your customers will help them improve in their achieving the business solutions and targets for that matter. Now, though we are talking about quantum computing and the recent developments or how advancements are made in this field, scientists are still struggling to create a controlled environment for the qubits and are looking into ways to modify the quantum particles' properties to get the desired results. But the work is being done and development is moving forward, but we're a little slow and steady. So, in fact, there are people that believe that quantum computers will be commercially viable in 2040. Now, that might seem like a far off future, but since a quantum computer can radically change the way we use computers, preparing for this scenario is definitely a must. So, what kind of computational problems in enterprise Infinity Q is positioned to solve?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, our first architecture was developed to address optimization problems. So, as I mentioned a bit before, the problems that look for something to be minimized or maximized through iteration of a bunch of scenarios. And the good thing with optimization, it's everywhere. So we target a few base of contacts in the various industries we had. So in finance, portfolio optimization, collateral swaps, currency arbitrage. In pharma, it's protein-protein docking, full configuration integration. And in logistic, we have the different variants of the traveling salesperson problem. And right now, we have several modules. We develop a true random number generator, and it's a very important module. We develop a very important module to tackle Monte Carlo simulations. We are in the process of the miniaturization of the technology, so we can put these different modules together on a very small piece of silicon and add more qubits and more capabilities. And the idea is to integrate our quantum analog chip with any computers. And right now we are working with the Euro HPC Center in Bulgaria and integrated the petascale supercomputer discoverer with our infinityQ. And we can do that because of our unique approach, because it's room temperature and it makes the integration pretty seamless.
Great. I think while we are seeing more advancements, I think Infinity Q is trying to solve a lot of problems that enterprises are facing. But we're moving to the next question. We all know about the most renowned traveling salesperson problem, and it seems that scientists have found a way to solve this most renowned problem. And yes, if you're guessing, then it's quantum computers. But we would like to know that how the traveling salesperson problem and Infinity Q hardwares are somehow related, and the Infinity Q's hardware can help solve that problem.
Yes, so actually the TSP, traveling salesperson problem, is a very common benchmark. And you have many people, many researchers, they try to solve the problem for decades. So that's naturally the first problem we wanted to tackle, more to showcase the capabilities. And actually, each variants have a lot of application in logistics. And with our very first prototype, we were able to clearly show a speed up against classical algorithm for such a combinatorial problem. And we showed the result for up to 100 cities, and it was already 6 months ago. So now we have already improved the result. And I think it's the main insight is really that the ability of the Infinity Cube to tackle more and more complex problems in a linear time, while classical computers, with classical computers, it would have gone exponentially, and at some point you wouldn't be able to tackle them with a single laptop. So it was very important for us to prove the fact that we don't go exponential when we increase the complexity. And actually, the complexity of a problem is really suitable for a machine. And again, it was done by our first prototype. And right now, we are working with a Montreal company to develop the APIs to integrate the traveling salesperson problem with a machine to existing infrastructure. And we believe it will have a big impact on logistics and supply chain companies.
That's quite insightful, Aurélie, and we are glad to know that Infinity Q is well positioned to solve the TSP, and hoping forward and looking forward to solve more such complex problems. We saw in news recently that in Canadian quantum analog company Infinity Q is to join forces with Discover, Euro HPC Computer, and Sophia to create a new computing paradigm. So we want to know more about this new integration and partnership. And are there any other partnerships that the Infinity Q has been into that sets the company different and innovative?
Yes, so exactly. We recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the consortium from discoverer of the petascale supercomputer in Bulgaria. And the event was on Zoom, of course. We had a distinguished executive team of Sophia Tech Part and a representative of the board of the Euro HPC. And on our side, we have the great honor the Minister of Economy for Quebec introduced the event to highlight the importance of this moment for both science and enterprise. And the assimilation of a quantum analog technology and one of the most powerful supercomputers really marks a paradigm shift in computation for a lifetime. Our collaboration is a remarkable opportunity to advance both the field of HPC and quantum computing to create something truly revolutionary and illustrate that science is the ultimate universal language and a great ambassador. And for us, it's the first step of a strong collaboration with a big supercomputer center in Europe. And I think our unique quantum analog technology is easily integratable with a supercomputer. You know, it's built with electronics. It doesn't require cryogenics or any complex system. So it will be a good opportunity to reach new domain of knowledge in areas such as drug design, new material, and we hope there will be many more to come in the future.
Definitely, this seems like a very strong and a powerful collaboration, and we really hope Infinity Q harnesses a lot of advantages and benefits and synergies and collaborations that can eventually help in advancing your platform and your technology, which increases the bottom line of your clients and enterprises.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
yeah. So one last question, Aurelie, and that would be since we're talking about Infinity Q is a woman-led company, so we want to know about the challenges that you must have faced because no journey is incomplete without challenges. So we want to know the challenges that you have faced and what would be your advice to women entrepreneurs in the tech space.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Before catching the entrepreneurial bug, you know, I was an officer in the Navy, so my previous jobs often forced me to confront the realities of working in areas traditionally reserved for men, and often was the only woman in the room. And I think it was the most important challenge to learn early in my career. As a woman, it's often more difficult to have credibility because it's an environment that is usually made up of men and had to work harder and show better results to be accepted. But I never gave up. And that's why today I'm really proud to be able to promote women in our company. And, I don't want women to experience the same. I remember this officer who told me that I was too cute to be the CTO of the squadron, or my commanding officer who said, I would be a woman who commands men all my life. So, who cares? Even if I had this type of comments, I still had great positions and I did the job. So, whatever the path, whether atypical or not, each event of milestone help our development and bring us the knowledge and experience needed to build a company. So I would say believe in yourself, follow your vision. And my advice to women entrepreneurs in the tech space would be it's very essential to surround yourself with the right people in order to get through the challenges you will face. For example, ensure your family is well aligned with your ambition and that they support you. As you mentioned, I am lucky to have a loving, a caring family. And it's also because being an entrepreneur, it's not a job; it's more a state of mind. And I would say, use unproductive criticism to fuel your motivation and use productive criticism to serve your goals. And also understand the agenda of people who give you advice. It's very important because sometimes, advice are not that great. And yeah, I think that's the main tips I can give. Believe in yourself, be your true yourself, and ignore the hater and just go. You will rock.
Well, I am definitely inspired right now with your last answer, and it has kind of boosted my motivation to move ahead and believe in yourself and try to achieve more as more as possible. With that, we believe that quantum computing represents a huge leap forward for our current computing possibilities. With quantum devices, we will be able to calculate, simulate, and analyze all kinds of data sets and possibilities in a couple of minutes that would take centuries to look into with our traditional computers. However, such power comes with the challenges that are still being researched to fully grasp their effect. We are still some years away from enjoying this kind of devices, and it's hard to predict the impact it might have in our daily lives. So it's worth taking a look at quantum computing, because nonetheless, since the future seems like it will be tied to its development, and the changes it might bring are quite staggering. Thank you, Aurelie. It was a pleasure having you with us on our podcast. I believe it was quite insightful, and I think this was more an inspirational and motivational one for our women listeners out there. So I hope our women entrepreneurs would listen to this and strive hard to achieve their goals.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you so much. Have a great day and take care.
Yeah, you too. So for our listeners, watch the space for more podcasts, and you already know we are on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Hit to Spotify and Google Podcasts and listen to our podcast and some of the upcoming ones, which would be quite interesting for you guys. So thank you so much.